Hey, it's Lewis Michael. Thanks for listening. Are you a creator that would like to reach out to our fans with a custom ad? As a comic book artist and podcaster myself, Geeking Around Podcast is here to help other creators advertise their projects. Not only will you get a audio and video ad, you will get a social media ad campaign as well. Click on the Fiverr Fiverr link in the description. Start advertising today. One, two, three. Hey everyone, this is Lewis Michael and welcome back to another episode of Geeking Around. Make sure you like and subscribe. Check out the description for some cool links, like a link to the Geeking Around website where you can read articles and reviews, as well as see all these videos as well. We'll have a article about this thing we will be going over, so make sure you check that out. Also, there is a link to my webcomic, Kira, a Star Wars Story Part 1. I'm very close to getting the sequel done, and hopefully that'll be out very soon. It will be a web novel, but then we will put it as a webcomic, like this false part. So make sure you do subscribe to continue to get updates on that. If you ever wanted to start doing YouTube or podcasting yourself, make sure to check out my gear list. It has all the computers and microphones and stuff that I use to create all these videos and stuff. And so there's a link to the Amazon to where you can buy all that stuff. They are affiliate links, so that means if you do go to those links and buy something from there, that I do get a commission, and that is an easy way to support this channel. So I am working on doing a Patreon thing, and which will be a monthly thing. It'd be very cheap, like $1 a month. Then if you want to give more, you can do that, but that'd be the minimum, and you get access to our private Discord and discounts on the clothing, the Geeking Around clothing stuff, which the link is in the description as well. So check that stuff out, and let's get on to the topic. So Ridley Scott blames millennials on these effing cell phones for the last duel's bombing at the box office. So yeah, just like a lot of the other directors are blaming everything on stuff that probably wasn't really the problem in the first place. But yes, the last duel, which has people like Matt Damon, Adam Driver, Julie Cummel, and it was written by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and of course it was directed by the legendary Ridley Scott, who did Aliens, Blade Runner, Gladiator, I mean, you name it, The Martian, so many great films, and it came out just a few weeks ago. Maybe it's been a month now. I don't think it actually says what date it came out, but yeah, it came out in October, so yeah, it'd be about a month, and it did not do good at the box office at all. The article says now Scott is speaking out about the film's poor performance, and the filmmaker lays the blame solely on a specific demographic, millennials, a group he says would rather play on their phones than watch a film. So this was said on a podcast, What the F podcast, Screen Rant, and said that the studio, which was 20th Century, that is now owned by Disney, did a good job promoting the film. For him, the issue was the audience and what sees a resilience on cell phones. I don't know why I didn't. He claims that Disney did a fantastic promotion job. The boxers loved the movies because I was concerned it was not for them. I think what it boils down to, what we got today, are the audience who were brought up on these fucking cell phones, the millennials, who do not even want to be taught anything unless you told it on the cell phone. This is a broad stroke, but I think we're dealing with it right now with Facebook. This is a misdirection that has happened where it given the wrong kind of confidence to this latest generation, I think. And realistically, there are likely multiple reasons for the last duel poor box office performance. Yeah, like the talk about the COVID, that's still a big problem in a lot of places here in the United States, as well as many other places. Where I live, we are a very small community, so it's not that bad anymore. And like, I haven't worn a mask like for quite a while now. Last time I had to really wear a mask was when I went to St. Louis, and that was it. But where we go to the movies and stuff, we are not required to wear a mask anymore. The last few times I went, we didn't have to. We always bring it just in case, you know. And I never had to. And plus, like during October when this movie was coming out, there was a lot of big franchise or like movies like Dune and Marvel's and Eternals was coming out. Both of them, well, Dune did really great at the box office. And Eternals, it did great the first week, and it went down after that. The article talks about how it may not just, his comment may not be just about millennials and cell phones, but you know, superhero movies, you know, the MCU, all these directors are putting so much blame on those type of movies, and I kind of agree with them, like probably 90% with that. But yeah, Ridley Scott went on to say that he stands behind the film and not looking back. This is what he said: "That's the call you make. That's the call Fox made. We all thought it was a terrific script, and we did it. You can't win all the time. I never had one regret on any movie I had ever made. Nothing. I long very eagerly to be your own critic. The one thing you shouldn't really have an opinion on is what you just did. Walk away, make sure you're happy, and don't look back. That's me." And I really agree with that statement there. That's how I feel about a lot of my stuff. That it's like there's some stuff like comics I did that I'm not most proud of, but like or happy with. But you know, you go on to the next project and you make it better. You learn from your mistakes. But yeah, I really want to talk about this because I'm a huge fan of Ridley Scott. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of Blade Runner. I think a lot of people probably don't know the movie before that, Black Rain, which was excellent. But he did Alien, so many influential, great movies over the years, and I actually wanted to go see The Last Duel and was very interested in it. Here's my problem with his statement about blaming millennials and cell phones. Other than them announcing and putting out a teaser trailer, you know, like a year ago, that's it. That's the only announcement, advertising of this movie, promotion of this movie that I have seen. I seen a TikTok, one little TikTok of it was just Adam Driver like jogging in his knights, his armor and stuff, and that was it. Like I think that wasn't them promoting anything. It was just someone posting it on TikTok. I think Ridley Scott is very out of touch on how the marketing is nowadays. Is that you want to have like Dune, like every app I open on my phone or any website I went to, there was a Dune ad. And I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people went and watched it. And like, even if they didn't go to the movie theaters, they watched it on HBO Max, which I strongly believe you should go watch in theaters. I mean, it was made to be watched in theaters. Just like this film, these guys do everything they can to make it the best experience in theaters and not on, you know, a small little TV. But yeah, I just don't agree with this whole like, oh, it's millennials' fault and these fucking cell phones. It's like, no, it's your fault for not targeting that demographic to watch this movie. They did the exact same thing with Blade Runner 2049. Even though that was a great film, it did not do great at the box office, and that's why with Doom, Warner Brothers actually didn't from the beginning greenlight a sequel. They wanted to make sure it does great, because Denis Levine's last film was Blade Runner 2049, and that was produced by Ridley Scott. And the exact same problem happened with that film, that the marketing was not targeted any demographic outside the people who watched it back in 1984. I'm sorry, but those people are old now. And with this pandemic happening, they ain't gonna go outside and watch this film. So I mean, I love Ridley Scott, but this was a dumb statement. This was it was one of those okay boomers moments. I hate that thing, okay boomer. But yeah, it's just that's how we are. That's society now. If you want to promote something, you go on Facebook, you go on Twitter, you go on TikTok, you go on YouTube. Like I said, I only saw 1 or 2 trailers for it. No TV spots, no web ads, on apps or websites and stuff. I was looking for, when I was writing this article, looking for any web apps or banners ads for this film, and I couldn't find none. And it's again, that's just part of the how things are nowadays. If you want to promote it, you gotta put it on cell phones, and if it was on cell phones, then a lot of these people will watch it. So many of the YouTubers and movie critics I do follow, as you guys know, I hate movie critics, so if I do follow them, that they actually really good, or I agree with a lot of what they agree with them a lot. And none of them went and watched this film, and they all said the exact same, that they didn't know it was coming out. They forgot about this movie because they did nothing to promote it, to keep your interest in it. And then, we were saying, that that October already had a lot of big films out, like Dune, Marvels and the Eternals and stuff, and many other Halloween, all franchise stuff, or Doom is the start of a franchise, and but all big movies and came out exactly that time. And I like I said, I think this was just stupid of Ridley Scott to blame. It was to blame millennials and cell phones or social media and stuff for it. No, people want to go out and watch movies. That's Dune proved that. Look at Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi came out during Labor Day weekend, which is not actually a good week to put out a movie. That's usually the dead zone, and it actually did quite well at the box office. So people do want to go to it to watch it in theaters. It's just that you gotta remind them that it is coming out in theaters. No one does the whole thing they used to do. I remember in the 90s, you would have to call a 1-800 number and talk to a robot thing, and they'd tell you what playing at the movie theater and stuff, or you go and look at the newspaper and see what's playing that week at the movies, or you just drive by. People just don't do that anymore. They haven't done that for quite some time. And so again, if you want to be relevant in today's society, these older directors needs to change the way they market the film. Zack Snyder is a good example. You know how he got so many people hashtagging release the Snyder Cut and stuff? Because he posted on Twitter. And he was sending, every once in a while, he was sending us a behind the scenes stuff of him, of the Snyder Cut and stuff, and like he showed pictures of the canistons that the films are in and everything. Like he keep dropping these little hints and stuff, and then he to promote the Snyder Cut, he went on a bunch of YouTube channels and podcasts to promote it, and I strongly believe that it was one of the best things he did. You know, I think that was what really helped promote the film, because Warner Brothers didn't do the typical promotion stuff for it. Zack Snyder had to do all of it, and I think just the fact that the fans loved Zack Snyder and the fact that he promoted the way he did, that's why the Snyder Cut did so well in viewership on HBO Max. And if Warner Brothers did it the old-fashioned way along with how Zack Snyder was doing it, I think it would have been even better with the viewership. So yeah, I think that's it for now. I do hope to watch this film. Like I said, I am very interested in this. I just haven't had a chance to watch it, and I heard very good things. It did say that the critic score is at 85% on Rotten Tomatoes and 81% at audience. So it sounds like it's actually a very good film, and some of the movie critics who have seen it that I do follow said it was very good. And well, that's all the time we have for right now. Make sure to check out the Geeking Around Network website. The link will be in the description if you like to read this article and many all the previous reviews and news and articles and stuff, as well as the videos and all the other cool links that's in there. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Geeking Around. I'm Louis Michael. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out the links in the description for some cool stuff, like a link to my webcomic, Kira, a Star Wars story, which I started posting on Webtoons. It is completed on Tapas, so you don't want to wait every week for a new episode. You just read it all there, but make sure to check it out and subscribe to it on Webtoons if you do have Webtoons. And I'm still working on the sequel to that, and hopefully start posting that very soon. It will be a web novel, but then we put it as a webcomic. Be pretty cool. Also, there's a link to the Geek Around t-shirts and stuff. There's a lot of stuff to go over with the Disney Plus Day celebration. I didn't even know what that was when I just started seeing people posting on social media about it, and it's like, wait, what? There was a celebration? What's going on? Wait, there was a Moon Knight Cradle? What? So I've been so busy lately, I don't even know what's going on anymore. So let's get into it. So there's a bunch of stuff that they announced that I really don't care about. Okay, here's the first one. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. This was a fun TV show back in the day that I grew up watching, but I did hear that they would also announced a Darkwing Duck reboot series, but I haven't really seen any actual announcement. I just saw that people was talking about it. I think these guys are gonna be good voice actors for it, or if they are, I didn't really look into it very much. It is gonna be a hybrid live action CGI, kind of like Space Jam Who Framed Roger Rabbit and stuff. I never really cared for a lot of that stuff. Like, I don't see why Chip and Dale needs to be. Or no, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be more like Alvin and the Chipmunks, probably. Which I think is stupid. The Pikachu detective thing, that was just stupid. I hope this does mean that we do get a Darkwing Duck series. That'd be cool, because I was a huge fan of that. The Beatles get back. This is a documentary. That time when they played up on the roof of some building, I'm not quite sure. Like, no one knew what was going on, and they just started having a concert there for free. And I always like watching music documentaries, especially if they do go into how a lot of the albums and the songs and stuff was being made. So I hope we get some in-depth stuff with that. I started watching that on Hulu. Had Paul McCartney and producer Rick Rubin, and they was going on how the Beatles recorded those stuff, and pretty cool. I love stuff like that. Again, a bunch of stuff and I don't really care about. Hocus Pocus 2. Again, as a kid of the 90s, this is one of those Halloween movies that you gotta watch every year, that everyone loves, and it was such a fun, great movie. And Wobos. Yep, Wobos, or whatever she said. And great to see that all the original actors are coming back, and that is awesome. It always sucks when they do stuff like this, and a lot of times you can't get all the actors back, and it seems like they got almost everyone back for this, so that is great. Pinocchio, really don't care, really, but I did saw on YouTube a trailer for a Pinocchio game that's a lot like Dark Souls, so I just want to add that in there. It looked kind of cool. Now I have to admit that the Proud Family, the TV shows back in the day, was actually really good, and I loved it, so this might actually be pretty good. The Spider-Man Chronicles, I actually never watched that movie, even though I was told by a whole bunch of friends that it was great. Me being a big fan of like fantasy movies that I should have watched and I never did, so maybe now that there's a new series coming out, maybe I can watch it and get into it. And which I hope, because this having that fantasy thing to it, I hope that the Dark Crystal from Netflix and Age of Resistance, that Disney will pick it up, because I'm pretty sure Disney owns the Jim Henson company. So I hope, like, with them doing so many different fantasy series like this and others, that they might do that as well. Though I hope they keep the darkness, that dark tone to the Dark Crystal like Netflix did have, because that was such a great series. But now they cancel it, bastards, and that's why I don't pay for Netflix. But someone else pays for Netflix, so I still occasionally watch it. Baymax, or I always call it Betamax. I actually am a huge fan of Big Hero 6. I loved it. There's nothing I hate about it. I loved every single thing about it, and I actually liked the 2D cartoon series that was on Disney Channel, and which is now on Disney Plus. And so this is awesome, seeing that there's another series coming out. That's something I'm going to definitely check out. Zootopia was a good movie, so this might be something to be looking into. But there's going to be a musical based on Princess and the Frog, which was a great film, but a lot of people didn't watch it. It came out at a time where every other studio was doing the CG 3D animation, was done with the 2D animation. The Princess and the Frog was great. It's just sad to see that it didn't do as good, and that's why they don't do 2D anymore on major films. So Hawkeye, I am very interested in this. I love Hawkeye. It just seems too Marvel. Watching the trailers, and I rewatched it yesterday, and it would just so force itself to be funny in scenes where it really shouldn't be funny, or was no need for it to be funny. It's Marvel, so they had to put some pointless, useless joke into it. So I really hope that it does good. Moon Knight. Now this the one thing that I'm very excited about for the live action Marvel movies. I think Oscar Isaac gonna be great. I was kind of worried about because he been in a lot of action movies, but never really hand-to-hand combat action or anything like that. But we've seen some behind-the-scene footage of him actually fighting and training and stuff. So I think he's gonna be great. I mean, a wonderful actor. Watch my previous video, Dune, where I talk about how great he is, and so I think this is gonna be great. Again, kind of like with the Hawkeye, I just hope they don't put a bunch of stupid jokes in and try and make it funny. I hope this is as serious and dark as it can be. I mean, I know it's Disney Plus and probably really more aimed to kids, but I just really hope that, because Moon Knight, and it's not necessarily true, but to most people, Moon Knight is like the Marvel version of Batman. And can you really see Batman movies having a lot of jokes in it and being funny and stuff? No, come on. Come on. So I really hope they do good with this. Like I said, Oscar Isaac gonna be great at it. She-Hulk, I never really cared about She-Hulk. I actually never really cared about Hulk. Even the comics and stuff, the movies, I never really thought it was all that great. Miss Marvel, I don't really care. Echo, now I am kind of interested because how it is related to Hawkeye, and she's typically a like a sidekick to Daredevil, and plus she supposed to be like one of the few actual like Native American superheroes out there in the comics. So, and I'm part Native American, so that's kind of cool. But it didn't really say much about it. Ironheart, I could care less. Athaga, I think I can pronounce it. I loved her character in WandaVision. I'm not sure we need a series, but check it out. I didn't think WandaVision was going to be all that great, and it ended up being, well, besides the ending, ended up being great. Secret Invasion. You're gonna have Samuel L. Jackson in it. This was not a very popular comic book series. It wasn't as big as like the Dark Phoenix saga and the Infinity War saga, but it still was pretty interesting, pretty good. And is this gonna be just a Disney Plus series or something? I don't think it really is saying. Okay, yeah, it is. But yeah, I think this is gonna be a great way to introduce some of the like X-Men, because some of the X-Men are in here, and the Fantastic Four people was in the comic, so it might be a good way to start introducing those characters into the MCU. And come on, I got Samuel L. Jackson, so you got at least check it out. And this one was a big surprise, and I can't wait to see an X-Men 97, a reboot TV series, a cartoon series of the old one from the 90s. The X-Men, the animated series, Spider-Man, the animated series, Batman, the animated series, all those animated series, superheroes, shows back in the 90s and stuff, what got me into comic books and got me into doing this right now, into creating comic books and making a podcast about comic books and stuff. So I think this would be they keep it with the same style, and because like those cartoons back in the days were very mature and was very more adult oriented, and it's not necessarily just aimed at little kids. It was aimed at anyone who was into comic books. And I think they do it justice and do it well. I think you're gonna see another big boom of comic book generation coming out of it. So hopefully this is great. I'm definitely gonna be watching that. What If season 2? I actually enjoy this series, especially those ones with Ultron and stuff, and The episode of Doctor Strange, I really loved that, and the zombie ones, like they was actually pretty good, and the animation wasn't the greatest, but some of them was very good, and I think they did very well with this series. I was actually surprised how well it was. So I'm looking forward to season 2. Spider-Man freshman year, they didn't say much about this. I guess it's just a way to introduce him into the MCU. Probably a new Spider-Man, I'm guessing. Not like the Tom Holland Peter Parker. Well, I guess it is Peter Parker. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. This one I'm just afraid they gonna do something that gonna piss a lot of people off. I am Groot, I don't care. I was not a fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Marvel Zombies, I think this is gonna be kind of cool. Maybe it's tied to the one episode from What If, where everyone's a zombie and stuff, so that might be cool, and I don't think we really got much info about it. Might check it out. Willow, this was a awesome fantasy movie back in the day, back in the 1980s. Warwick Davis, and so hopefully, and like I was saying with Dark Crystal, that this will be an awesome series, and hopefully they do justice to the original, kind of like how Netflix did do with the Dark Crystal. And so it didn't tell much about what the series is going to be. I guess it is a sequel and not a prequel like the Dark Crystal was, but yeah, they didn't tell much about it. So, but still, I love the movie. I grew up watching that as a kid, and I love all those 80s and 90s fantasy movies that came out. Obi-Wan, we got a little, behind the scenes stuff, an exclusive look and some concept art. I love the fact that they had Deborah Chow from The Mandalorian. She was one of the directors from Mandalorian, and I think her episodes were some of the best episodes in The Mandalorian. So that's awesome that she is coming to do the whole series of Obi-Wan. And you got Ewan McGregor coming back as Obi-Wan, and you got Hayden Christensen coming back as Darth Vader. It's going to be awesome. At least I hope it is. It did show a concept art of Obi-Wan and Vader fighting. So the rematch of the century. Under the Helmet, The Legacy of Boba Fett. I haven't watched this one yet. I was trying to watch all the other stuff, but yeah, I'm not quite sure what it was. I think it's just kind of a little documentary about Boba Fett and stuff. I don't think it was anything about the actual, like the book of Boba Fett, the upcoming TV series that's gonna be coming out. Which I think it's cool that they got Robert Rodriguez directing it. Cause that episode, like when I watched that episode where Boba Fett came in and he just beat the hell out of those guys, like you can just tell that there was a different style to it from all the other episodes, and it's like, man, this kind of like a Robert Rodriguez movie. That's kind of like his techniques and stuff. And then his name popped up in the credits. Like, oh crap! I was like, that's so cool. Gotta get Quentin Tarantino next time on season 3. So I think all the other stuff is just a bunch of documentaries, and I don't really care about. Yeah. So yeah, there's some very interesting things that they did announce. Again, it was very disappointing that nothing was really coming out super quick. It's still like a year or two off, or didn't have a date for it. But yeah, some of these stuff I'm very excited about, and really hope that they do good on it. And I did watch on Chang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings, last night of recording this, and I enjoyed it. I think it was a decent, martial art movie and stuff, and I'm glad that they didn't go too far with the jokes and stuff. It was mainly just the chick that plays Katie. I can't remember her name now, but it was mainly just her making the jokes with a few here and there of other people, but for the most part it was pretty serious, and it was your typical superhero movie. There was nothing too groundbreaking with it. I did feel like some parts of the fight scenes they used CGI were Jackie Chan did the exact same move in the Drunken Master back in, what that was, the 70s when he made that, and they didn't use CGI then, so. But it was a pretty decent movie, and I really enjoyed it. And also did finish the other week, finally finished watching The Bad Batch, and I have to say, like, The Bad Batch, like, story-wise and stuff, it wasn't nothing great or anything, but like some of those scenes, like, was actually very good. Like, they was beautifully created and animated. I think the animation got a lot better than what the original series was, the Clone Wars, and of course the last season, was it season 8 or season 7 or 8? I can't remember now, which had a lot better animation as well. Yeah, that's all. I wanted to do a quick run through a lot as what was announced and stuff. Like I said, there's some pretty good stuff and some that we might have to wait to see to really, get an actual opinion on it. I mean, you should do that with anything, but sometimes you just, after all this time, it's hard to stay excited for a lot of this stuff when they keep ruining everything. So that's it for this episode. Make sure to like and subscribe before you leave, and check out those links again, and we see you next time. Bye.